they seem to have the most talented roster, the most complete roster. So what does San Fran have to do? They have to compete with us. So bringing Christian McCaffrey directly is a response to what the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing.
It's a football Friday here on Good Morning NFC East. It's a big Friday in the Philadelphia area, obviously. The Phillies are playing in the playoff game today. I'll be down there at the bank later today. Pretty excited for that. But there was some fireworks during Thursday Night Football last night, Tone the Shields. And Christian McCaffrey, a San Francisco 49er. I just wanted to hear your initial thoughts on the trade and how do you think it impacts the NFC right now?
You know, you got to pay attention to the top, right? You got to pay attention to the teams who are actually going to be relevant, when it's all said and done. I think the Eagles are obviously going to be one of those teams, the 49ers as well. I think the Bucks at some point will sneak into the playoffs. Their record may not reflect it, but they're a good team in the end. Offensive line needs some help. You think about the Green Bay Packers. You think about the Dallas Cowboys. You think about those teams, right? And who are the cream of the crop in the NFC? The Philadelphia Eagles. Out of all the teams in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles seem to be the most fluid. They seem to be the most in control of their situation. They seem to have the most talented roster, the most complete roster. So what does San Fran have to do? They have to compete with us. So bringing Christian McCaffrey directly is a response to what the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing. Now, do the 49ers fear the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't think so, because they beat them last year. I don't think they fear them in any way, but I think they respect them, and they understand that in order to make it to the promised land, it has to be an arms race. My guys have to beat your guys. I have to give my team the best possible chance to beat the best team in the NFC right now. Will the Eagles be the best team in the NFC when it's all said and done? We'll find out. But adding Christian McCaffrey immediately injects a surge of offense into the 49ers. Into the 49ers offense. Let's really think about their offense right now. Jimmy Garoppolo, who is I guess you'll say the ultimate game manager. You know what I mean? He wins. That's the bottom line. He wins. He's not a sketchy stuffer, but he wins. Jimmy Garoppolo. Then you have Christian McCaffrey. Then Jeff Wilson Jr. backing him up. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, who's having a very, very good year right now. George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, who is a Swiss Army knife. He does a lot for that team. Then they're going to get Trent Williams back at some point. They have the offensive line. They're going to get Mike McGlinchey back at some point. So that offense is talented, right? And it's going to be really fascinating to see how they use him. I think he couldn't have been sent to a better situation. Kyle Shanahan loves to mix it up in the run game. That's their team's bread and butter. And I'm going to be really curious to see how they inject this man into the offense. I think they're going to bring him along slowly and start him off in the red zone. He should have played this Sunday, so I expect to see him in a bunch of red zone packages.
Yeah, so this is what's crazy about when they made the trade. I think myself. So I'm a stat guy. There are only four players in NFL history with 1,000 receiving yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. The 49ers got 2 of them. Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. That's absolutely crazy. And you know how tough it is for teams to game plan against Deebo Samuel. Now you got to worry about him. You got to worry about Christian McCaffrey now. And the 49ers are already a good running team, like you said, Tone. They're going to find ways to utilize him. He's back home. He's back in the Santa Clara, Stanford area in California. He's back in that neck of the woods. I think it's a match made in heaven for them personally. For Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers, they needed to do something to spark that team up. And there's an NFC West up for grabs right now.
That too. Very good point.
Yeah, the Rams aren't good. They're just not good this year right now. For 6 games, I can say it. That they're an average football team. The Seahawks are, again, we all know what they are. They're better than what we thought. And the Cardinals, the Cardinals are night and day. You don't know what you're getting. Although they did look a lot better with DeAndre Hopkins last night. We'll get into that a bit. But you look at the 49ers, you got that. And like you said, you got Brandon Ayuk. You got George Kittle. Here's a key part of this whole thing, Tone. So the 49ers have these guys under contract till 2025. Trey Lance, we can't forget about him. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams. It's a nice little core on offense. And now we can say, on paper, their offense might be as good as their defense.
That's very true. And let's put this in perspective as well. The only part about this move that concerns me is the health factor, because the San Francisco 49ers have had the injury bug for the past couple seasons. Christian McCaffrey has had the injury bug for the past few seasons. You mix that together, I don't know if that kind of stuff is contagious or not. And I don't know what the medical staff over there in San Francisco is doing or not doing, but it's something to keep in mind, because, like you said, they do have McCaffrey under contract. They picked up that contract, and he has a big one. But let's think about the other side of it, right? And I know this is an NFC East show, but you have to talk about these kind of things,
But this
because this
affects
is
the
the NFL.
NFC East, though, because they're
This exactly. It affects the NFC East. That's a great point, because it's an arms race, right? And another side of it is that we're going to have to pay attention now to what Howie Roseman is, because Howie Roseman is going to respond to this. You know what I mean? He's going to make a move. He sees the pendulum swinging. But also another side of this that needs to be discussed. The Carolina Panthers came away with a haul. They came away with a plethora of picks. I think they got a second round pick. They got like 5 picks out of the deal, something like that. A second round pick for this upcoming draft. What are the details, Jeff?
Yeah, so the main part of the deal is they got a 2023 second, 2023 third, and 2023 fourth. In fact, I was going to lead into this here. This is the biggest trade for a running back since Herschel Walker got traded from the Cowboys to the Vikings in 1989. And
the only thing missing is the first round pick.
Yeah, exactly. The Carolina Panthers did not get that
at all. That's fine, though. That's fine.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it as, okay, now the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers got their draft haul. Where do you rank the 49ers in the NFC East right now? I know where I got them. They're top 3.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing. I'll be honest with you. I think they're better than the Cowboys. I've always thought the 49ers are better than the Cowboys, even prior to this trade. So I think it's Eagles 1, 49ers 2, Cowboys 3, Minnesota 4. Then it's a toss-up between the Packers and the Buccaneers for 5 and 6. And then maybe, Arizona got it together last night, but we'll see. Those, you don't get pick 6s every week. So maybe
you do
Arizona 7.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, no, I basically was just saying that, it's, once you get past those final 4 teams in the NFC, it kind of gets a little muddy.
Yeah, so this is, you pretty much just named 6 of the 7 playoff teams in the NFC now. So it's going to be who gets that 7, and you're right. Could it be Arizona? I don't know. Like, again, they're night and day. That Thursday night football game was exceptional for them. They needed that win. And I think they're fortunate they got the Saints, because the Saints are good. And Howie Roseman is going to get a top 10 draft pick, because the Saints, for some bizarre reason, thought they were a Super Bowl team with Dennis Allen as their head coach and Jameis Winston / Andy Dalton as their quarterback. And yeah, they got talent on that team. Don't get me wrong, but you don't make Super Bowl runs and trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You don't make Super Bowl runs and trade first-round picks because you want Chris Olave because your quarterback's bad. By the way, all your receivers are hurt anyway. Alvin Kamara is still good. Like, I know Ryan Ramchik's still a really good right tackle, but you lost Teron Armstead. Cam Jordan's still good. There are some good players on this team, and they got some nice young players, but I just don't like the way the Saints are constructed, and I don't like their head coach. And this is why they're 2-5. This is why they're going to have they gave up their first round pick. The Eagles are the best team in football, and they're in line for the number 4 overall pick thanks to the Saints.
Dude, man, it's something to behold. And it's funny. I'm actually not surprised Howie Roseman didn't make a play for Christian McCaffrey, because I'm trying to think who asked me. I think it was Rick Servatella from the Football Playbook. He asked me would I trade for Christian McCaffrey, and I told him straight up no, because I know
not for that much. No, and I wouldn't even
exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get into that hot take nonsense, honestly. Like, the Bills trading for Christian McCaffrey made a lot more sense. But I was on Bill's podcast yesterday, and we were talking about this. You just don't give up as much as we thought you'd give up for Christian McCaffrey. You don't give up second, third, fourth round picks for Christian McCaffrey unless you're all in.
Yeah, exactly. Great point. And the 49ers are clearly all in. And also, they're desperate. Think about what they gave up for Trey Lance. They are in the hole right now. They only have about 2 draft picks for this upcoming draft. I've never seen that before. So this is going to be fascinating to see pan out. Them making this move tells me they need to get it done this year. Because if they don't, their future is in the balance.
Yeah,
they're approaching a Ram situation. Excuse me.
Do you think it's because of the Rams though? Like the Rams doing FDM picks and all that, and the Rams are giving up pick after pick after pick, which it's hurting them this year because they don't have enough draft picks to make up for injuries and whatnot, and the cupboard's been bare for so long. I mean, they haven't had first round picks since Jared Goff in 2016. And like you said, now you've got the 49ers. They gave up a boatload of picks for Trey Lance, and they had a lot of assets to give up in the first place. But now they gave up the rest of their assets to get Christian McCaffrey in. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's nice, but what if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt? And I understand it. I understand why they did it because they've been in the NFC Championship game 2 of the last 3 years. They should have been in the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. And right now with Jimmy Garoppolo, they can go. Like once their defense is healthy, it's all game time, baby. They probably have, outside the Eagles are really good defense. I would say the 49ers match up with them in terms of pass rush, star linebackers. The secondary's been really good. I mean, the 49ers are a legit football team, and they just got better.
Yeah, without a doubt. You can debate who's the more talented team. You can go matchup at every position, right? Let's just, for example, the wide receiver position, Deebo Samuel versus AJ Brown. Okay, that's debatable. It's just that Deebo Samuel gets used in so many different ways. He seems to be a better. He's a more versatile weapon. It's just the way he's used. That's all. But Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, matchup for matchup. Miles Sanders and Christian McCaffrey. Some people say Christian McCaffrey was better. I say right now it's up for debate because of Christian McCaffrey's injury history. He has to get back, so that's up for debate right now. Tight end for tight end, Dallas Goedert and George Kittle. Everyone knows that the 49ers have a better left tackle, but you can go position for position with these teams. And I think it's going to come down, if these two teams meet in the NFC Championship, it's going to come down to coaching and execution at the end of the day. Oh,
absolutely. And, I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach too. I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Panthers #1 overall pick, right?
It looks that way.
Their offense sucked with him. Now he's gone. So I just don't see them winning.
They're going to be much worse, obviously.
we got to think about this for a second here. Since the Eagles do look like they're going to get a top 10 pick thanks to the Saints, who do you go after right now? Like I'm not talking about player position. What do you go after?
Are you, in terms of what? Are you talking about the Eagles in terms of going after someone at the trade deadline, or?
Okay, say the Eagles, and again, this is if the season ended today. Obviously, they're probably not going to get #4 overall pick. Say the Eagles have #4 overall pick right now.
Well, they do have it right now. They do have it right now.
Well, yeah, but right now. But say it ends that way.
Okay.
Quarterback's out. You're not getting a quarterback. You're not drafting a running back that high. I don't think they're going to draft a receiver. Do you go edge rusher here? Like what
I'm going after that kid in Alabama. What's his name? Will Anderson?
Do you think he falls that far though?
Man, okay. So Carolina, 9 times out of 10, they're going to pick a quarterback. Let's think about it. So right now, Carolina is #1 in draft pick order. Las Vegas is #2. Detroit is #3. So, and the Eagles are #4. So if everything stays the way it is, let's really think about it. So Carolina, 9 times out of 10 is going to pick a quarterback. Las Vegas. Where do you think they're going to go with it?
I think they go defense.
Okay. That might be where Will Anderson might be poached, right?
He's a generational player. He's going to get picked by either them or Detroit. Detroit's defense is historically bad.
That's a good point. But again, that might change, right? And see, it's tough because a lot of these teams that are in the top 10, most likely they'll go defense. Like I anticipate Houston might go quarterback. Houston might go quarterback because they're #5. Actually, Houston right now owns the #5 and the #6 overall pick because they got the Cleveland's first round pick. So
isn't that hilarious?
That's hilarious.
Doesn't Seattle too? Doesn't Seattle have a top 10 pick in there from the Broncos?
See, yes, they do. They do. They got it from Denver. Yep, exactly. So this is going to be
Man, I'll tell you
this is why the NFL is the best show on the planet, because there's so many narratives, so many storylines to watch, Jeff.
there really are. Like, so we're laughing because the Eagles are really good, and right now they're set up to get a top 5 draft pick, right? And we're talking on the Eagles bye week, not how bad the Eagles are or what they should get, but oh yeah, they don't need this, they don't need this, they don't need this. I mean, honestly, Tone, it all depends what happens with James Bradbury too. I think he re-signs. I think they'll make sure they re-sign him, but you could go quarterback there too and just have an extreme amount of depth.
You definitely could. I'm curious. You know, the trade deadline is fast approaching. The San Francisco 49ers have made the first move. They've knocked down the first domino. And let's be honest with ourselves. Even though the Philadelphia Eagles are 6-0, once you get into the playoffs, it's one and done, baby. Your record means nothing. It's all about who delivers the best product on said day. How do the Philadelphia Eagles keep pace, right? What do you think the Philadelphia Eagles will do come this trade deadline? Do they make a move? Should they make a move?
I'll tell you what I do. Pass rusher.
Okay. Has anybody had in mind?
I would call the Panthers. I would call them and see if Brian Burns is available. I don't think he is, but they just traded Christian McCaffrey. I don't think you can give up every good player you have. I would call them just to see. I think it would actually take a first-round pick to get rid of Brian Burns. But that'd be the first team I call. But there's always a team in there that I'll tell you what, Tone, I'd be honest with you. I don't think he's having a good year at all. I would call the Bears about Robert Quinn just to see. Maybe the Saints about Cam Jordan. I don't think the Saints would want to trade Cam Jordan, first off. And two, I just don't think they want to get fleeced by the Eagles again. But, I mean, Cam Jordan would be nice. I think another pass rusher would be nice to have. Like, I think the Eagles' pass rusher is good, but you can never have enough pass rushers. I mean, look what the Rams did when they got Von Miller last year. They didn't need him, but they gladly took him.
Yeah, they look like they need him now. And I'm so curious to hear what Rob Ellis has to say about, this whole Christian McCaffrey trade, the way it affects the Eagles, the way it affects the playoff race, just the way it affects the trade deadline in general. Because again, that was the first pin to drop. And now you're going to start to see moves being made. You're going to start to see teams who think they're a contender, like the Eagles. You're going to start to see them maneuvering and fishing around for guys that are going to be able to take them over the top. But, Jeff, any final thoughts before we hit this break?
I'll tell you what, the NFC just got wilder. The NFC East just got wilder. I mean, we already got 3 teams that are good.
Yeah.
And, you know what, Todd, we kind of talked about this over the week with the Giants. We were debating on, like, who the 7 playoff teams are. Even with the Christian McCaffrey trade, the Giants are still kind of set up here. Like, if they win 10 games, they're probably going to the playoffs.
That's true. But, again, they are still a rebuilding team. And they will lose out on the top 10 draft pick, so we'll see how that pans out. But let's hit this break, you guys. You guys are locked in on Good Morning NFC East with Jeff Kerr. I'm your humble host, Tone the Show's the second. Don't move, you guys. Keep it locked. We'll see you soon. Rob Ellis is coming up next.